Welcome back to this Moneycontrol live stream. You're watching Closing Bell with me, Nandita Khemka.
And I'm Yatin Mota.
And Yatin, such a solid start to such an eventful week, right? We have the interim budget on Thursday. We have the Fed's rate decision coming out on 31st night. Lots of earnings, the likes of SBI, M&M, L&T, a few very big numbers to watch out for as well, and all has started well with the Nifty in fact breezing past that 21,700 mark as well. And it's a pre-budget rally. The market men are saying that is panning out in the market. Broader end of the market's also buoyant, 1.5% kind of up move coming in there as well, in tandem with the benchmarks. And of course it's the energy pack, Yatin. Going all out today, 5.5% kind of an uptick coming in on the Nifty energy pack, led by the likes of ONGC, 7.5%. Reliance Industries, that's one stock that has fired up, and how, given the fact that it has clocked in a market cap of 19.2 lakh crore rupees. In fact, Yatin, if you look at the stock performance of the last 1 month, 20% kind of an up move for an index heavyweight. Not a joke really. And I remember last time at one point in time we were thinking about how Reliance hasn't really fired up, but this time around it has fired up, and how. 7% kind of gains coming in on Reliance Industries today. Adani Group of stocks also not far behind. There has been a initiation on the stock by a global brokerage, right? In fact brokerage has said that it is not easy, or it is you can't ignore a group like Adani, and in fact it has initiated a buy call on Adani Enterprise. It has in fact it sees a 50% upside on stock. Aside of that, other gainers in the market today: Coal India, BPCL numbers came out just a while ago, Tata Motors, these are some of the gainers. On the flip side, Yatin, Cipla, of course, news based reaction coming in there. Top Nifty loser. ITC ahead of its numbers is under pressure. Infosys, Bajaj Auto, JSW Steel are among some of the losers in today's session. But Yatin, broader end of the markets equally upbeat today.
Absolutely.
What are the other movers there?
So if you look at Infibeam, that stock moved 20% after quarterly numbers. IRB Infrastructure, new record level, stock up 18%. SJVN, NBCC, and a whole host of these PSU stocks, Nandita, which were correcting last week, have managed to rebound quite sharply. So we have the likes of SJVN, NBCC moving 10% each. MMTC is up 7%. We also had stocks like Coal India, as well as IOB among the PSU movers. In the private sector, we had stocks like Castrol, that stock moved 8%, NCC moved 9%, NBCC, as I mentioned, ahead of the budget, wherein there is talk of that infrastructure spending moving up. We have all of these stocks buzzing in trade. But on the losing side, AU Bank, accident of the day, quarterly numbers disappointed, the asset quality disappointed in particular, that stock was down 12%. SBI Cards, also the result disappointed, and most of the brokerages cut the target prices and downgraded the stock. SBI Card was down 6%. CEAT and Devyani also looking at some profit taking, down by nearly 4-5% each.
Right, those are the movers and shakers in the mid-cap end of the markets. But of course, let's take a look at some of the stocks that are on our radar this afternoon. Yatin, starting with AU Small, which you was just mentioning, of course, clearly reacting to its weak numbers. Over 11% kind of cut coming in on that counter. Biggest single day drop since August of 2021. In fact, it's the asset quality deterioration that has come in as a disappointment. Although profits were down 4.5% and NII had jumped 15.3% on a YY basis. Of course, a sharp jump in provisions is something that hurt profitability. And if you look at what the street is really saying about this particular stock after the disappointing show, well, Citi has maintained a neutral stance. Target has been cut to 790 rupees versus 832 rupees per share. In fact, Citi says that it's the credit card stress as well as write-offs worth 120 crore rupees and lower recoveries. A combination of these factors have hurt asset quality for AU Small. In fact, margins for the lenders have also been under pressure this quarter, right, Yatin? And for AU Small also it was no different. And in fact, core margins have been under pressure. Funding costs have risen 20 basis points, and Citi says that the pressure may continue on the margins in the fourth quarter as well, and NIMs could settle in lower at the lower end of the guidance when it comes to AU Small. Of course, poor show in the third quarter, and that's particularly reflecting in the stock prices. And if you look at the analyst tracker, as many as 27 analysts that track the stock, out of that 10 each have a buy and sell call, and the rest 7 have a hold call. But we'll have to see how the margin picture really pans out in the coming quarter. That could decide the fate of this particular stock.
But I think valuation wise also, Nandita, the stock is expensive, no growth in profits, and rising NPS probably have some effect on the stock stock price. In a roaring bull market, when you clearly underperform, the market punishes you with a big sell-off, and that is what exactly happened in the stock of AU Finance in trade today, 12% down, as we mentioned earlier. But Adani Enterprises and, along with ONGC, Reliance, one of the biggest movers in trade today was the Adani Group of stocks, especially Adani Enterprises. Now, Cantor, which is a foreign brokerage, has initiated a coverage on Adani Enterprises. The target is 4368. So, from the current market price, there can be a substantial upside according to this brokerage. Now, Adani Enterprises operates in three big verticals, which is roads, airports, as well as clean energy business, which is the new energy business for them. This is under the entity called Adani New Energy Limited. Now, these three businesses clearly drive 85% of the overall revenues for the Adani Enterprises as a consolidated entity. And Cantor believes that the rest of the businesses, which is the coal trading business, several other businesses which the company is seeding, are available at a good optionality value, and that could add to the upside moving ahead. So clearly, on the basis of probable other businesses, which is X of airports and roads and infrastructure projects, there could be a substantial upside to the share price of Adani Enterprises. And probably after this brokerage note and a good market momentum today, the entire Adani Group, especially Adani Enterprises, moved in trade. The stock was up nearly 5% in trade today.
Right, of course, Adani Group stocks among the big movers today. Sorry, pardon me for my throat. But the other stock that will be in focus today will be ITC ahead of its numbers.
Really?
Yatin, we've already seen that, for the FMCG giants, the numbers haven't been all that enthusing, and the street has been punishing FMCG stocks as well, given the fact that today it was the sole sectoral laggard in such a strong market. So if you look at, let me just take you through the expectations. Revenues and profits may see single-digit growth. In fact, profit may grow somewhere around 3% on a YY basis. Margins are also likely to be flat. Now, if you look at the hotels and FMCG segments for ITC, these are the these could be the outliers in this quarter. In fact, cigarette business volume could come in at somewhere around 3%, on the back of a high base. So likely to be subdued, the cigarette business volume as well. But if you look at the FMCG business, it's the lower input cost that would aid this particular segment. And if you look at the hotels business also, the revenue may rise in double digits, 15 to 20% on a YY basis. The delay in festive season and the wedding season are likely to result in the segment's strong performance in the quarter gone by. And the EBIT margin here could come in somewhere around 20%, 21% or thereabouts, rising somewhere around 160 basis points on a sequential basis. That's as per Kotak Institutional Equities. But the stock ahead of numbers was among the top losers in today's session. So let's see how the numbers really pan out. But as we've seen for other FMCG majors, no great expectations from ITC as well.
Yeah, Nandita, and as you were mentioning that most of these FMCG companies have disappointed. Rural markets are not recovering. Yeah. And ITC, as you were saying, the volume growth for cigarettes will be quite important. The FMCG business is also expected to grow 10 to 15% in terms of revenues. So the food business primarily should drive the growth for ITC this quarter. But yes, the consumption trends and the volume growth picture should be watched out for. And any disappointment probably would lead the stock getting corrected in trade.
Right, that's about ITC. Of course, numbers will come out, I think any time now. Yeah. We'll have to, of course, take stock of that tomorrow morning. But with that, I think that those were all the stocks that were on our radar this afternoon. But of course, you guys come back and join us tomorrow morning at 8:30 a.m. on Morning Trade with all your stock-related queries and all the stocks that will be making headlines in tomorrow's trade. But for now, it's a goodbye from me and Yatin. Thanks a lot for tuning in. Stay tuned to Moneycontrol for all your other news and updates.